Friday. From Friday, November 18th up until Friday, November 25th. Get up to 80% off on selected items in store. We have huge discounts on electronics, household, clothing, shoes, accessories, cosmetics, furniture, and more. VIP customers enjoy exclusive discounts from Friday, November 18th to Sunday, November 20th. Get your Christmas shopping done now and save big.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good day. Thank you for joining your News at Noon on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Let's get to the news in detail. Since the first commercial oil discovery in Guyana's Stabroek Block back in 2015, there have been more than 30 other significant finds in that concession. The success rate has no doubt motivated the country's Dutch-speaking neighbor and CARICOM sister, Suriname, to aggressively advance efforts to replicate a similar fate in its own waters. Matthew Smith, a Latin American correspondent and veteran investor for oilprice.com, said Suriname's 30-year PSCs, which are up to 10 years longer than equivalent contracts offered by other Latin American countries, established a low royalty rate of 6.25% in order to attract urgently needed foreign energy investment. Importantly, she wrote that Guyana's 2% royalty is among the lowest in Latin America. The Irfan Ali-led administration has remained adamant that it will not be making any changes to the low royalty in ExxonMobil's contract, even though it has set higher terms for 14 smaller blocks that will be up for grabs in Guyana's maiden auction next year. In other news, employees attached to Mitsui Ocean Development and Engineering Company, or MODEC, the Japanese company building Guyana's fifth oil ship, have been charged in a Singapore court for offenses related to bribery and corruption involving around $942,000 US. It is understood from international media publications that a 59-year-old construction manager of Indian origin, Harish Singhal, along with other employees of MODEC, was charged on Friday last for the said offenses. Singhal is accused of accepting bribes, committing money laundering, and deceiving his employer into paying another company. The offense can lead to hefty fines and imprisonment for up to 10 years. In other news, Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh said the revenues being accrued from the oil and gas sector are still relatively modest, particularly considering the country's developmental needs. Singh is quoted by DPI as saying that while the petroleum sector continues to grow and generate economic opportunities, the non-oil sectors must be developed to create a sustainable source of wealth. Currently, Guyana has around 11 billion barrels of proven oil reserves and is producing about 350,000 barrels of oil a day. And moving on, a 21-year-old Mark Fontanelli of First Phase Kwakwani, Upper Berbice River, who admitted that he raped a 12-year-old girl, was on Wednesday sentenced to 11 years imprisonment. Meanwhile, 33-year-old Ray Williams was sentenced to 15 years and 3 months for repeatedly raping a 12-year-old girl. And in other news, a complaint has been filed at the Legal Practitioner Committee against Attorney-at-Law Rajendra Punai over his alleged failure to properly deliver competent services in a statement of claim matter filed in a civil jurisdiction of the High Court. According to documents, the complainant Lloyd Subrayan, the owner of the Caribbean Telecommunications Limited, a company registered under the Companies Act of Guyana, is claiming that he paid Punai $3,000 to represent the case, but he failed to do so in a manner that any reasonable attorney would. And just before we head to a short break, the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation over the last weekend successfully conducted a total of 50 joint replacement surgeries through its collaboration with Operation Walk, a U.S. nonprofit medical organization. This was announced on Wednesday by Dr. David Samaru, head of Department of Orthopedic at GPHC, during a press conference at the Hospital's Resource Center. Dr. Samaru briefly explained yesterday that Operation Walk is no stranger to Guyana and that it is a voluntary organization given the gift of restoring mobility to patients. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 5 in Guyana. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio. We'll return after the break.
This Christmas, get the best deals at Digicel. Save big with up to 50% off selected handsets. Get the Logic L63 smartphone for only $15,000 or the Samsung A037 for $31,000. Plus, a free 30-day Prime bundle with the purchase of any smartphone to enjoy the things you love. Hurry in store for this limited time Christmas offer. Digicel. It's the Christmas that keeps on giving.
You don't have to be a fountain of knowledge to help children with their schoolwork while they're at home. But you do have to be caring, understanding, loving, and patient. It's an unsettling time for everyone, but children still need a safe and secure environment. So don't overwhelm them with endless news items or problems. Keep them gainfully occupied and amused, exercised and rested. Protect our children.
A message from the Child Care and Protection Agency, Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, and UNICEF.
Welcome back. Let's continue with the news. The body of an unidentified man was found trapped under a bridge at Schuler and Gomes Optical Services located along Brickdam, Georgetown. The discovery was made during the afternoon hours after the foul scent became unbearable to the owner of the private eye clinic, Don Gomes, and other residents living close by. The body, however, appeared to be that of a middle-aged man with a bald head. There was a pair of black shoes on the feet and it was clad in long black pants and a dark grey jersey with white stripes. Meanwhile, broadcaster Bobby Vera will officially launch a new political movement dubbed the Independent Citizens for Progress to participate in the upcoming local government elections. He said he will unveil the full plan for rebranding Georgetown to recapture its image as the Garden City after the official launch. Vera said that his focus will be on identifying an economic zone, better measures for garbage collection and traffic management, installing public sanitary facilities, improving street lighting, as well as putting in place stricter means of revenue collection. Following a recent picture posted on Facebook showing a school child dangerously clinging to the back of a moving Route 40 minibus, police have since located the driver and charged him. Police in a report stated that they managed to arrest the driver of the minibus and also impounded the vehicle at traffic headquarters in Ivleri. The driver was slapped with 4 charges: breach of condition of road service license, failing to exhibit revenue license and fitness certificate, breach of prescribed fitness, and tinted motor vehicle. Police stated in its report that they have a zero-tolerance policy for any type of road lawlessness and urge all drivers, pedestrians, and persons using the roadways to be more responsible. And with plans on achieving universal secondary education for all children in Guyana, Minister of Education Priya Manikchand on Monday announced that the government is looking to build new secondary schools across the country. The minister at a sod-turning ceremony on Monday stated that the government is trying to move away from primary tops and have students properly enroll in secondary schools to obtain their secondary education. When asked on the sidelines about the funding for these upcoming projects, she added some of the projects will be funded locally, while others will be funded through various international financial institutions. And more than 25 private sector leaders from across Louisiana and the United States connected with business leaders and government officials in Guyana, the U.S. Embassy here said in a press release. Joining the group were also economic developers, industrial training experts, Louisiana state officials, as well as U.S. government officials. Combined, the companies represent over $238 billion in annual revenue and employ tens of thousands around the world. The delegation conducted productive meetings with key private sector contacts and experts to highlight Guyana's business environment, learn about the government of Guyana's efforts to promote investment and economic diversification, explore market entry strategies, foster partnerships, and develop closer trade and investment ties between Guyana and the United States. And it is time we close things off with the page 7 of today's Kaieteur News, dedicated to being blunt. Business people crying for help. Imagine that. The business people begging the government for help. The Guyana private sector has benefited immensely, but asking for more. Imagine the plight of the suffering mass of poor Guyanese. They are getting a handout here, some charity there, almost next to nothing. Who's looking for them? What are they getting? Definitely not what they are due. What they should from what belongs to them. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.